The Pediatric Symptom Checklist, or PSC35, is a psychosocial screening tool designed to facilitate the recognition of cognitive, emotional, and behavioral problems in children, so appropriate interventions can be initiated as early as possible.
Michael?
That's us.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Laura. It's nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you.
Jason.
This way.
The PSC35 should be administered by the therapist or recovery specialist at the time of initial assessment and every 6 months thereafter for youth ages 4 to 18.
So I have a symptom checklist. It has 35 symptoms on it, and if you could just go through and check off if Michael never experiences it, sometimes experiences it, or often experiences it.
The parent or caregiver should be provided with the PSC35 to complete on behalf of the child. It should also be administered at the time of discharge if possible.
The purpose of this assessment tool is to identify impairments in areas of life functioning. Through this training, we will show you how to fill out and score this form.
Assist the caregiver as needed, starting with the information at the top and reading the questions aloud or explaining their meaning, if necessary. Keep in mind that they will need to fill in the form as completely as possible. If 4 or more answers are left blank, the survey will be considered invalid. At the time of assessment, documentation of the completion of the PSC35 must be reflected in the assessment, treatment planning, and service delivery for your client. Once you have completed the PSC35 form with the parent or caregiver, enter the PSC35 results in the standalone form in the Assessment tab in Cerner. The form will then calculate automatically for you. The highest score possible is 70. For children ages 6 to 18, the cutoff score is 28. That means that a score of 28 or more indicates impairment, and 27 or lower indicates no impairment. In children ages 4 to 5, the cutoff score is 24, meaning a score of 24 and above indicates impairment, and a score of 24 and below indicates no impairment. In these children, we ignore the scores for elementary school items 5, 6, 17, and 18. Clinical judgment should always be used in addition to the screening. Next, document the results on the mental health assessment form under Symptoms. Finally, integrate a statement into the assessment billing note that documents the completion of the PSC35, such as PSC35 was completed with a total score of, and indicate your score here, highest possible score is 70. When completed at 6-month intervals or at discharge, PSC35 results should be entered in the standalone form in the Assessment tab in Cerner. Create a progress note that reflects that the PSC35 was completed. Service that was provided to the caretaker reflecting the conversation with the caretaker about the symptoms, behaviors that will be the focus of treatment, the plan for addressing those symptoms and behaviors discussed, review of progress or increase of symptomology since the PSC35 was last administered. Finally, integrate a statement into the assessment billing note that documents the completion of the PSC35, such as PSC35 was completed with a total score of, insert your score here, highest possible score is 70. When completed at discharge, PSC35 results will be entered in the standalone form in the Assessment tab in Cerner. Document completion of the PSC35 on the discharge transfer form under the section Evaluation of Progress and Gains, similar to the following example. PSC35 was completed by caregiver with a total score of, insert that score here, at the time of discharge. Initial score was, whatever the initial score was, at the time of assessment. The highest possible score is 70. If the PSC35 is not completed at time of discharge, please document PSC35 was not completed and why the family was unavailable. If you have any questions about the PSC35 integration, contact your supervisor.
Through this training, we will show you how to properly fill out and score this form.
That's good. Actually, it was
really good. I'm laughing because I see. Go ahead, one more time.
Through this training, we will show you how to properly fill out and score this form. I'm sorry. Through this training, we kept looking.
We're rolling whenever you're ready.
Sorry.
I have no self-control. None.